Hello, Carrie Gale. How are you? I am well. What's up, JP? Jesse, good. How are you this evening? Pups, how are you? Peter Parsons, what's going on? How are you, buddy? We got 5 folks in. It only says 1 person. Now it says 3. Hope everyone's night is doing well. Pups, I hope you feel better soon. Roberta, how are you, dear? Still 5 minutes till midnight. A little early. I figure we get a little head start on the game. Little head start. I am doing well. Thank you for asking, Roberta. Simone, hello. Just B, how are you? 46 in upstate New York right now. 46 degrees. I always have scruff. I've had this beard for 4 years. What's going on, Fuji? Will you investigate? I hope you do. Delirium, how are you, buddy? It is pretty clear. It's pretty chilly out. Hey, M, how are you? It's all right, pups. You're not feeling good. Glenn, there's Tyler Marshall. How are you, Tyler? Glenn Cometa, how are you, buddy? MJ Bates, how are you, dear? So before you ask, I am Tuesday getting the tattoo. I know that you asked last, you were like, it's September, end of September, are you getting the tat? So I'm going to show everybody. I got my appointment at 1:00 on Tuesday. And this is what I'll be getting. So it'll be right here. Well, thank you, Michael Powderly. Appreciate that. Hi, Tyler Marshall. Applejack's yes, it's a raven. Applejack's Pop-Tarts are the greatest thing on earth. The greatest Pop-Tart ever made. I don't know why they took so long to make them. There's Janie. How are you, Janie? I think a magpie is different than a raven. But I don't know. I don't know if a magpie, because people I think crows, ravens, and magpies are all in the same family, but not genus. I know I missed somebody. Poppy, Robert Sharp, Troy, how are you? Poppy, all the way from Sweden, home of the Volvo. What's up, George Coker? Yeah, same family, just not the same genus, like I said, right? Yeah. Hey, Molly, how are you tonight? Thank you for showing up and joining us. Girth! I am Girth. It's my new glasses. It's my new glasses, Roberta. You like these? Thank you, Patty. Appreciate that. Get a little embarrassed. I get red in the face. I don't take compliments easy. But yeah, I figured let's do some Dahmer glasses. So that's what I did. You know what my shirt says, Jane? I've worn this shirt a couple live streams ago. It says, Red Cardinal, the old dirty dog fam is doing good. Kakalina, how are you, dear? No, I've got it in a pile downstairs. I've printed it out and I've got it in a pile downstairs. What's up, Ginger? And Ginger, there's Gringo. What's up, Gringo? Good evening, Caden. Caden Soro, how are you? There's Joe. How are you? Frankie Morris, what's going on, my friend? How are you tonight? Oh, I hate that fucking bike. I hate that bike. That bike drives me nuts. It's a guy with a Grom. He has a Honda Grom. So it's like 80 cc's because he's afraid of having a big bike. Like my four-wheeler could knock the doors off that thing. But he's got this stupid exhaust that makes it so loud. So he's like, brrr. You know, he's got like this really incredibly small wiener because he's got a huge exhaust to make it sound loud. What's up, DL? Black Pilled, what's going on? How are you, my friend? Sovereign Cosmic Wildman. Drew Blue. Yeah, compensation 100%. Nick Hendricks, how are you tonight? Three Cat Mom, how are you? Tiggy's lurking around here somewhere. I just roughed him up a little bit. Dude, my cat has been so like disgusting lately. He'll like come in my studio, rip ass. Like the other day, I swear to God, it smelled. I'm sitting here and I'm recording something. So I've got the mic like this. I'm like, bloody blabbity blue, blah 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 blah, and I go. It smelled like a fart on a public bus. Like I was like, what is that filthy odor? Right? And I'm looking and I'm like, I haven't farted in like 2 hours. I'm like, so it's not me. And I look down and there's Tigger. And I'm like, dude, you smell like a 500-pound man that just ate a fucking box of ding dongs, you bastard. I'm like, you're absolutely gross. Oh, he snores. He breathes like he needs like he sounds like he needs a CPAP machine. Like he's all fucked up, but he's a good boy. Janie, me? Is that what you're saying? My hair is looking pretty shaggy, actually. I don't know. I'm having a hard time with it. I'm like, should I cut it? Should I keep it? Should I cut it? Should I keep it? Kakalina just noticed the shirt. Yeah. It was filthy. I was like, oh, Jay Cortez, what's going on, my friend? Yeah, I saw that one, actually. I talked to him a couple of weeks ago. Steve-O. The only reason why I have access to him is because of Claudia Ackley. But yeah, Josh is a pretty cool guy. Checking in from the panhandle of West Virginia. Please stay safe there, Carl Breeden. Please stay safe there. What's going on, Jody Bateman? How are you, my friend? Colleen, how are you? Do I have socials? No. Like meet and greets? No, I don't. I don't like those. I think they're a way of scamming people out of money because you have like 14 people that are guest speakers that all think they're experts and they give you their fucking opinion, and half of them are talking out of their ass because half of them has never been in the woods. If I was going to do like a social or a meet and greet, I would want it to be free, and I wouldn't want people to feel like they got fucked over. So I don't know. Maybe you have like vendors there that like actually sell books that are decent and stuff. And have people like, if I was going to have like a social, I'd want to have like guests, and I would leave it up to like myself. Like if there was a way of ever me doing my own meet and greet or like a Dogman family excursion, I would want like Stephen Quayle there, but I would pay him out of my own pocket. And that way, like, there wouldn't be a charge to you guys, because I don't think that's fair. I don't think that's right. I don't think that's fair at all. Where do I find pictures of real werewolves? Like in gaming. Copa, how are you? Dis, how are you? Alan Howell, how are you? Where to find one? Very, very unlikely to find a real one. I've got a video from a guy named Kirk Stokes, and I wasn't there, so I don't know if it's 100%, but I know Kirk, and Kirk is one of the most honest people that I've met in research wise. So I'd say it was real. But once again, I wasn't there with him to take it. So, but I really don't think, I think we don't have so many pictures or any pictures really because of the vibrations and energies they're putting off. Because I'm really thinking they're using portals. And I think that anything that goes through a portal, its energy and molecular structure gets fucked up. Therefore, it kind of looks like a potato cam took a picture of it. That's just my philosophy and idea. What's up, William Menendez? How are you, my friend? The World of Dante, how are you? Verta Breaker, what's going on? Rockin' steady. Steady rockin'. Rockin' with your and out. I don't know how that works, to be honest with you, Lycan. I mean, the best bet I could say is get out in the woods with a camera. That's it. That's the best thing I can say. I mean, I've caught in some weird shit where Tom Mezek disappeared at the 411 location. Multiple weird things. The metallic noise. I've caught something running off the side of a mountain and whatever came up behind me. So the best thing I can say is get out and do your own hiking and videos. That's the best I can say. Armando Angel, how are you? Andy Davis, how are you, my friend? Vang, what's going on? Yeah, we're going to do, what is Halloween fall on? Let's see. Halloween falls on a Sunday? No, on a Thursday. Yeah, you know what? How about we do, because of Vang, so let's thank Vang right now. Vang, thank you. Halloween live stream 9 p.m. till 11 p.m. 2-hour live stream 9 to 11. That sound good to everybody? Sounds good to me. Cops, Cop is right. Well, you can't see him where he's located, but he's just past there. MJ Bates, how are you? So, Vang, thank you for bringing up the live stream. I appreciate that. Thank you for causing me more work. Fucking jerk. No, I'm just kidding. MJ, thank you so much for the love. Appreciate it. I had some really good experiences tonight. I actually spent a couple of hours combing through and finding a variety of different ones that really kind of covered a lot of different shit. So, Elisa Conroy, how are you? Look, my hat matches my shirt tonight. Because I'm a fucking cowboy. Linman, I was just thinking of you, buddy. I was literally just thinking about you today, wondering if you were okay. I was going to text you tomorrow if you weren't in the live stream. Because I was like, I haven't seen Larry in a couple weeks. I wonder if he's all right. War Angel, Sonia, how are you? Jessica, how are you? David Thompson, how are you? I hate if I miss people. I'm sorry. If I miss anybody, Caden, blast that booter. If I do miss you and I don't say hi to you, holy shit, we have 167 people and only 61 likes. Come on, family. Let's get the likes up. RH will be here soon, I bet you. He'll pop in a little bit. We'll have a good Halloween horror night, buddy. We'll have a good one. Alan Howell, thank you for the love. Appreciate you. All right, let's start this evening off with, that's not the one that I wanted to start it off with. There it is. Southern Charmer, how are you? All right. Moondog Rex, what's going on? In 1935, two brothers were hunting deep in the woods in Ashe County, North Carolina. They were about 3 miles into the thick forest and had been hunting most of the day. It was starting to get dark. Pups, thank you so much. It was starting to get dark, and so they decided to pack up and get ready to leave. As they began to hike out, they heard something moving through the forest behind them. It was loud and almost sounded like it was bulldozing through the trees. The men shone their light at it, and they were shocked to see a 9-foot-tall creature with blood-red eyes staring at them. Frightened, the two men immediately began shooting their .30-30s at it. They could hear it make a squeal they describe as horrible sounding. It then covered its eyes and ran blindly into the woods. The two hunters turned and ran towards their home. Looking back, the men believed that they may have actually shot the creature in the face and possibly hit it in the eyes, especially given the way it covered its eyes and ran off into the woods. The men didn't know what it was, only that it resembled a giant ape-like creature they called the devil ape. In 1978, two friends, John and Paul, were walking in those woods in late fall. They were both in the 6th grade. They were out pretty late when it started to get dark. As they walked, they felt as though they were being watched. John noticed a shadow moving at the same point. At some point, they stopped and looked at whatever was following them. The creature had, according to the witness, cold yellow eyes. It began to growl at them. The two boys began to run. They eventually made it out of the woods, and when they looked back, they saw that the creature had not followed them. The two boys, fearing that they would be mocked, told nobody of their encounter. John would not go back into those woods again. Many years later, he was driving by that same patch of woods where he had seen that creature and observed a wolf head peer out from above the bush on a downside incline. He estimated, given the height of the incline, the creature had to be somewhere between 7.5 feet in height. The eyes were that same cold yellow that he had seen that day in 1978. It watched him pass. To John, it felt like it was studying him, almost like it remembered him. He drove by that area again the next day, this time armed, and saw nothing. This happened in Hockomock, southeastern Massachusetts. Rihanna, thank you for the love. Paul, appreciate that, buddy. $20 is $20. Ford, I'm glad you made it too. Riverside WB, what's going on? I do have some black-eyed kids experiences for the night too. Finally, military here looking for people. Yeah, it's pretty crazy that the hurricane had affected so many people and the military is finally doing something. I remember, Gringo, thank you, my friend. I remember, I think it was 3 days ago, I was talking to somebody and they were talking about our National Guard up here. We have a National Guard that's just up the road from my house. And there's a small airport that they can use. It's called the Floyd Bennett Airport. And they were going to start flying FEMA stuff from upstate New York to the South. So it's pretty incredibly crazy that our government acts and responds so slowly to things. Like, people are displaced and it's disgusting. You know, what if that was our whole country? You know, like, what if, yes, a hurricane is a major tragic case, but what if something like a fucking nuclear bomb hit our country, God forbid? How fucking slow would the government react to check on its people? You know, like, it baffles me. And yet we are the country. They're just a bunch of fucking losers in suits that could give a fuck about us. Absolutely right, Nick B. Absolutely right. Thank you. Absolutely right. What's up, Fire Horse? You know, we just need to, like, I don't know. I think our government really needs a total overhaul. I think what needs to happen, and this is just my own opinion, because, like, I don't like that whole our country being divided by Democrat, Republican political sides. Like, we're all Americans first and foremost. And what needs to happen is, it's an experiment. Our country is a fucking experiment, you know? Like, we have a ruler for 4 years And if his ideas work, hopefully he gets elected the next 4 years. But if he doesn't, then those 4 years are just put aside. But anyway, it's worked. It's worked for a while. But I think we lost something along the way to where they forgot about us. We're the ones that like make them, and I think we need to put stipulations and things upon who our leaders are. One, I think if our president is going to be president of all of us and look out for my safety and your safety and our kids' safety, then he should have served in the service. He should have at least had some sort of active duty. Then after that, gone to college for business and whatever else, but business first and foremost. So military and business. And then I really honestly think that if we have a Democrat as a president or a Republican as a president, we should have the alternate as the vice president for a check and balance, because that is what should always happen. There should always be checks and balances like we learned in school. Like I'm 48. So 30 years ago is when I got out of school. I remember hearing checks and balances in the political system. Now it doesn't seem like there is. It's just horseshit. Now you've got some old lady that looks like the Wicked Witch of the West, and her husband selling stock and fucking making millions of dollars. And she's like, I love our country and I love everyone that's in it, even if they're whatever, but we need to do better. Our government needs to do better. And that's all I'm going to say. And I'm sorry. Because one, if kids are going to die for our country, then our fucking leaders should have at least put their lives on the line too. All right, here we go. Good night, Caden. Have a good night. This is an interesting experience. The experience I'd like to share with you happened the summer of 2002. I was 20, still living at home in a rental in East Mesa, Arizona, with my 18-year-old brother and mom. As you may know, Arizona has a typically 6-month long scorching dry summer climate. And being a transplant from the beautiful North Cali, it was hard for us to adapt. Anyhow, it was a hot summer night in late May or early June, and my brother had just graduated from high school. I was working a full-time job during the day. We spent our evening, Paul, thank you so much, my friend. We spent our evenings talking and laughing and playing music. It was really a memorable and enjoyable evening. At around 10:30, I noticed that the front porch light had began to burn out, as it had been doing for 18 months. In fact, both lights over our driveway and 3 lights in our backyard were constantly ceasing to function, and it seemed I was always buying bulbs and expensive strobe light bulbs. I don't know if it was somehow connected to what happened next. First, I must add that our front door was set back into the house with a garage protruding. Our front yard was much deeper than our back and was overshadowed by 3 velvet mesquite and a China berry tree and various other cacti. So the street light did little to penetrate the den of darkness. I turned the lamp light to my bedroom, which was really an office nook right next to the front door, which had a large lattice picture window with a run-of-the-mill blind. I opened the blinds and the light flooded the wall of the garage. What I saw made my skin crawl. There on the stucco wall was something. It was only about 10 to 12 feet from where I was standing. The only way to describe it was I was looking at a giant headless moth. I called my brother, overly excited, and clearly remember our conversation. What do you suppose that is? I have no idea. It must be some sort of bat or something. But we only have micro bats here in Arizona. And I've always heard that bats hang upside down. I guess it could be a giant moth. We do live in the desert. I thought moths were attracted to the light. The lights all burnt out again. We talked for a moment and stood next to the glass panels adjacent to the front door, the bedroom light illuminating all the while, and the thing did not stir or move. We decided it was about 2 feet long from blunt top to winged bottom. It was very clear, yet very dark, almost black, no antennae visible. It hung on the wall like a moth, but was about the size of a medium-sized fruit bat, which I do believe only exists in Asia. It was about 5 to 6 feet off the ground. My mom came and had a look and shuddered and refused to stand next to the door. We were both young and curious, and my brother said, "Let's go have a look at it then." We swung the door and the security screen open, and he took a step over the door jamb. I was suddenly struck with an unreal, unearthly fear and grabbed his shoulder. He looked back at me and later said I had the most wholly terrified look on my face he had ever seen. I am afraid and tingly even writing this. Without word, he stepped back inside, and we locked both doors, closed the blinds, and camped out in the living room, only going to sleep after several thoughtful conversations. The very next morning at sunrise, I went out to the wall with a tape measure, and my brother and mom stood at the door and directed me as to how high and low this thing was. There was no trace of it. The dust on the stucco looked the same all around with no residue or anything. When they were both satisfied with the positioning, I read the tape measure. This thing was 28 inches. My mom walked back into the house and has absolutely refused to speak of it since. My brother and I are both keenly interested in animal, insect, plant life. The media and I have taken an MCC course in Southwest biology, and neither of us has ever seen or heard anything that matches that description. My husband was raised here and said the only thing he could think that was that size would be an owl, but this was no owl. What was it? Perhaps it was a real animal we could not identify. Anyway, that was my experience. We are both level-headed and analytical. So 28 inches, 2.5 feet, flat-headed thing that looks like a moth. That's fucking creepy. And that is a cryptid. Maybe that's, yeah, exactly, Three Mom. Maybe that was what was burning. Melody Page, how are you? 4 inches bigger than Hulk Hogan's pythons. Maybe that was what was burning out his light bulbs. Melody, did I respond to you? Because if I did not respond, it means I didn't get it. And I apologize, but could you try again if I didn't say I got it? Thank you, Melissa. I only have this shirt because my favorite singer, Mike Patton, from Faith No More, Mr. Bungle, freaking Phantomas, Dead Cross, and many other bands wore this exact same shirt and was singing on some concert that he had done. So that's why I have it. Tattoo Patriot, I'm doing well. I do believe in little people and fairies. I'm scared of them. I don't like little people. They scare me. I actually, that was a fear of mine. I had a phobia, and I'm going to be as politically correct as possible. People like Wee Man actually scared me when I was a kid. I was deathly afraid of the height declined people. Aramek, how are you? Hang on 1 second. Tijuana Border Jumper, how are you? I'm glad you made it across this evening to hang out with us. I hope the jump wasn't too high. I'm not making fun of the height challenged. I'm not, Andy Davis. And you said it. Patton does rock. Patton does rock. My second favorite singer is, well, Chino from Deftones, Crosses, Palms, and a few other bands too. Then Grady Everett from Will Haven. Will Haven's my third favorite band ever. Jeff, I'm not going to answer that question. Maybe. I don't know. That's politically incorrect, and I'm not getting canceled. I'll just say maybe. The fuck? I've seen a tiny person kick somebody's ass. Tampon Tim. Holy shit. They are tough, dude. Like fucking Wee Man. Have you seen Wee Man? Like, oh my god. Wee Man is fucking a monster. Freddie Mercury and Chris Cornell. Both great singers, both good singers, but Aramaic! What's up? Israel, how are you? Nikola Tesla hasn't said a word tonight, but I just caught him. Puma Pete, how are you? Chris Cornell's a good singer. Good singer. But for the Seattle grunge, best singer out of Seattle, Andy Wood by far. Andy Wood from Mother Love Bone, Malfunction, makes Chris Cornell like not even have a voice. They were good friends too. Andy Wood, one of my favorite singers. Well, if you think Chris Cornell's got a beautiful voice, you might want to listen to Landru, the God of Love. Lane Stanley, unique voice, yes. Landru. Yeah, he died. I said had. Not many people know his second band, Malfunction. I think better than Mother Love Bone, actually. The Ocean. If you ever want to hear a really awesome, kind of sad song, if you're all depressed and you're like crying and you got a cup of coffee and you don't know what to do and you want to go and just cry a little bit, go listen to The Ocean by Malfunction. MALFUNKSHUN. Great song. Aramic, thank you kindly, my friend. And this one goes out to you. It's true. I saw a Mothman, and no, not recently. Not one of these recent sightings that people are talking about. That is what made me decide to go ahead and share this. This was back in 2008, 4th of July, Toledo, Ohio, which is Northwest Ohio, right on this corner of Michigan line, like right in Ohio/Michigan borderline. Well, thank you, fella. Okay. So we had just finished watching the fireworks. All of the cars were leaving, and he decided to sit back and just wait for the cars to leave. So we did not have to fight the traffic. And we could just hang out with family a little bit longer anyway. My boyfriend at the time was lying on a blanket on his back, just kind of looking up at the stars, hanging out. But after a while, he looked up and he was like, hey, guys, what the hell is that? So I was the first to pay attention to him and looked up and was like, is that a plane going by? It's a plane. What are you talking about? He's like, no, that. And there was this huge black mass that was clearly blacking out some lights by the stars as it flew by. I do remember that It was slowly flying, but not like a bird. When it flew fast. This thing seemed to glide as well. And its wings were very thin, like pterodactyl wings. That struck out most to me. Da, da, da. And a body that was stubby but not short, because trust me, this thing was huge, but it seemed like a gargoyle. That's what it reminded me of. A gargoyle with pterodactyl wings. I don't know. This thing was weird. So I brought attention to my mom. My mom saw it. My brother saw it. It was funny because we all did the same exact thing. It's a plane. What are you guys talking about? I looked my mom over and she said, it's a plane. And I said, no, Mom, that. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know what it was, but I know that for some reason, seeing it made me feel terrified, and it stuck with me. The fear stuck with me. And if you think about it, it's kind of irrational because there is no reason to fear it. No reason to fear something that flies in the air and it looks like a fucking gargoyle. That's kind of irrational. It wasn't coming towards us, but it fucking could. It was just flying and could have been something else. Blah, blah, blah. Oh, no. It couldn't have been the Mothman because we weren't in Point Pleasant. That was West Virginia. This is Ohio. Nobody wanted to believe me, but now people are actually coming forward and reporting things like this. I didn't even know you could or knew how or what to do, but now I know that people are actually calling the police and reporting these things. Anyway, that is my experience with a human-like flying thing that everyone thought was a plane. That lady really sucked at writing, by the way. I had to take 17 likes. I had to take almost as many likes out of that story as I like to say fucking And I say a lot. Because I like the word Not more You lose this conversation. I love you, Aramic. I love you. And I am always going to push the Mothman towards you until you believe. Salty Christian, I don't say because here's the reason why I say it is when I'm narrating an experience and I'm being serious, like on live streams, I'm kind of fucking around and joking because I'm having fun because it's the one time a week I can have fun. But when I'm narrating and I've got it in front of me, I'm pretty good. But if I'm on the phone with somebody and I'm writing down notes and it's that good of an experience that right after the conversation, and it could be like a 3-hour conversation, I'm going to record it so it's fresh in my head. So when I do pause, my brain just automatically just puts in and I don't know why. I've tried to break it. I can't. I'm not a storyteller. I'm a researcher. Dark Waters is a storyteller, a very good one. I suck at storytelling. I can research, but I don't know. I'm trying to break the It is a hard one. It's a very hard one to say or not say, I've actually thought about doing electroshock therapy to places on my body where if I say it, maybe I'm a taint. Holy shit, Golden Member. What's going on? Golden Member is here. The bronze snake. Hi, Claire. How are you? Good to see you. I can see you. Jeff, have you any Camslot story? Camslot? Like the Camelot, you mean? The Mark Richards stories? Mab, how are you? I don't care. It used to really make me mad when people would make comments about me saying but I don't care anymore. I don't care. I can't care anymore, because it's not anything I can control. Lunatic Fringe, I know that you're out there. Pop says I never noticed. I can't believe fucking Golden Member is back tonight. The old bronze snake. Did someone ask if I was married? Nope. Divorced and single dad of 2 daughters who I absolutely adore, and my channel. Hey, Kimberly Flores, how are you? It's fucking time. It's time. It's time to make some music. Wait, Bronze Snake is waiting on an ambulance? Oh my God. Golden Member, please stay safe. I don't need to lose another subscriber. Please. Fucking Aramik. $20 is $20. Tijuana Border Jumper, thank you so much. And that, my friends, is why they call me the Kenny G of cryptozoology. The Kenny G of cryptozoology, baby. Oh, yeah, a little ball shaking. Let's do this. To stop myself from saying I did say I was gonna, every time I said but it was a joke, clearly a joke, because I would not do anything to my taint, because that's just fucked up. What's up, Boondock? Boondock Mojo. How are you, my friend? I could say, okay. All right, here we go. Black-eyed kids. I had a disturbing experience when I was younger. My family was on a day trip by car, and we had stopped at a fast food restaurant to eat in San Diego, California. We walked in, and immediately I was overcome with a sense of extreme dread and fear. I soon noticed a man eating by himself. He was pale-skinned and wearing a white pullover shirt. He also had on a yellow knit cap. The hair was sticking out of it, as if he had been wearing this thing for a long period of time. I was extremely frightened with the feeling of evil that was overwhelming. His looks didn't alarm me, but his aura was ominous. I immediately lost my appetite because of my sense of terror. I couldn't help but look over at this man. He was also moving very slowly and deliberately. As I looked closer, his fingernails were long and bluish in color. His eyes were black, which stood out against his pale skin. I tried to get my parents' attention to notice this guy, but they continued talking. Apparently, no one else was picking up this vibration of malevolence. Eventually, I abruptly interrupted their conversation and said, "Look at that man over there," well, nodding in his direction. My dad turned and said, "Which one?" That quickly, the strange man had disappeared. There was no trace of him. I had only taken my eyes off of him for a couple of seconds, and he simply vanished. I still felt his presence. In fact, I felt like he was near me the rest of the day. I have never had that same feeling since that day, but I know I have seen the same strange man on several occasions. I truly believe that he was actually there and that he somehow disappeared into an alternate realm. As well, I think that he continues to do so. Could he be sending me or others a message? That reminded me of the guy that people dream about, like that picture that everyone sees. Fuck. Random guy that everybody dreams about. This butthead. Oh, shit. Can you see him? There we go. That guy. I don't see him. I never want to see him. He scares me. What's going on, two-way? Judith, how are you? No, not DB Cooper. It kind of looks like Son of Sam. I think there's a name of hang on. The guy has a name. But what they did was there was like a bunch of people that were like having dreams of this guy. And people were like, they all came to the conclusion of the same picture. And it was this guy. The D-Wave guy? I don't know. He does look like the Son of Sam, but he actually also looks a little bit like Bill Cooper. He looks like Bill Cooper in a little bit. No, if you just look up the guy that everybody randomly dreams about, Ingrid Cole, but they just never put a name to him, I believe. Delirium, thank you. What's creepier? Oh my God. Black-eyed kids or ginger kids? I have 3 cousins that were gingers, and they were creepy. Them, my cousins, the gingers. Definitely the gingers. My cousins, the gingers, not Ginger Beard. Not Ginger Beard. And no one else, just my cousins. I like Ginger Beard's beard. I do have an email. The dream guy is this man. I do have an email. I'll put it in really quick. Hang on one second. So we can I'll just finish the freaking story since we're all good. Guy randomly people dream about. Same guy. The picture of the man that many people have dreamt about randomly. All right. This man is a conceptual art project and hoax created by an Italian sociologist and marketer, Andrea Natella. In 2008, Natella created a website called Ever Dream This Man, describing a supposed mysterious individual who has reportedly appeared in the dreams of numerous people around the world in 2006. Unsolved Mysteries did a video about this. All right, I'll put it in now. NADOLNY _M _Jeff at gmail.com. And I am in a fucking great mood tonight, guys. I'm in a good mood because you guys are here with me. IE Native, how are you? I need a drink. Rockin' steady. You are awesome. Thank you. Started off with a hoax, but yeah, I mean, how if it's a hoax, how do so many people dream about it and recognize the guy? You know what I mean? And then Unsolved Mysteries covers it. If Robert Stack covers it, you know it's fucking real. Come on. I missed you, Jessica. Thank you for showing up with us tonight. Yeah, definitely don't kiss rocks. Rocks are not good to kiss. They don't kiss back. Definitely not. Liberace was not a ginger. I heard he played one on TV though. Jordy Poole, how are you? My email is in there somewhere. If you need it again, Papa Bear. I grew up with Robert Stack, black hair and brown eyes, around 36 years old. Wait, what? You really, what? Now you got me freaked out. Rockin' steady, thank you. Aramic, thank you again. Thank you again, my friend. And I am literally coming up right now with a lot lizard story in my head. So it's going to be a good one. Sean Lynch, thank you so much, my friend. I appreciate you. Aramic and Sean, thank you. Oh, have you guys seen the remake of Salem's Lot? Has anyone seen the new Salem's Lot on HBO? Otis Driftwood, what's up, my friend? It is so good. It is the new Salem's Lot is so good. So good. Stephen King, I do not like his views on the world, but I love his writing and have since I was a little kid. My aunt actually went to school with him. I was fortunate enough to meet him when I was 12. Yeah, 12. And because my aunt went to Orono College with him, and he did my aunt was in one of his movies behind her house and shit in Maine. But Salem's Lot, the remake, is amazing. It is amazing. If you haven't seen it, I suggest sometime this week checking it out. It had the It vibe to it because, yes, it's on Max. It had the It vibe to it because like the Loser Club kind of, they emphasized on the kids in the beginning. It was just awesome. And then the vampire, oh my God. Oh my God. They did such a good job. So fucking good. WLLC. I am doing good, Purpose and Grace. It does pop up. I told you. Marlo, how are you, my friend? Thank you for joining the live. I appreciate it. Marlo Hobson. They are all over Mississippi. Absolutely, absolutely. I'd really like to hear your experience, especially from Mississippi, because I have I don't know if you've caught my idea, but I have a map downstairs in my other studio, and I believe that there is a 5-state East Coast 5-state hotspot. There are probably other hotspots throughout the country, but I believe that West Virginia, Virginia, North Carolina, Tennessee, and Kentucky are the East Coast hotspot. And then the experiences trickle down and trickle up from there. Mississippi, especially because it's on kind of this nomadic kind of zone that they run onto. I can't wait to see it. Zilla, you will love it. It is amazing. It truly is an amazing, amazing freaking movie. Marlo was the best character on The Wire. You're right. Marlo was the best character. I liked Marlo. Yes. Nosferatu vibes. How they made him look. Oh, man, dude. So good. So good. Yeah, anything with Rob Lowe is terrible. Anything with Rob Lowe. Even when he made that fucking Unsolved Mysteries where he talked about his Bigfoot encounter. That was even terrible. I'm just kidding, but oh boy. Wire is great. Speaking of The Wire, have you guys, Girth Brooks, speaking of The Wire, if you're a Wire fan, have you seen the kind of side shoot to it called The Corner? The Corner is amazing. What up, Danny Barnett? How are you? I am full of fucking energy tonight. Holy shit. No, it's not on Max. It was on Max. You can find it on YouTube. If you type in The Corner, I think there's 5 episodes, and they're hour-long episodes, and it follows a family in Baltimore, and it was probably like a couple years before The Wire took place, made by the same creators. It's fucking awesome. All right, here we go. This event involves my oldest daughter and the oldest daughter of a longtime family friend. My daughters and I drove from Brunswick, Georgia to Welborn, Florida, which we did several times throughout the year, usually around Halloween, so my daughters would celebrate with friend's daughter. On this trip, we stayed up sitting near a bonfire in her yard, catching up with one another, eventually going inside to settle in for the night. It was October 30th of 2003. I checked on our 2 oldest daughters who had been watching TV late into the night. My oldest daughter and my friend's oldest daughter were sitting together in the family lazy boy recliner. When I went to check on them before bed and tell them not to stay up too late, I noticed they both looked scared. I asked them what was wrong, and they said that they swore that they just saw a scary-looking face with large dark eyes. I asked them to tell me more. They began to cry. My oldest daughter stated that she felt that something was watching them. The living room window was behind the recliner, so she turned to look and said she saw a pale whitish gray face with large black eyes in the window, and that when she turned to look, it stayed only for a moment, then quickly backed away. So when I entered the living room to check on them, it had just happened and they were both scared. So I talked them into going to bed, reassuring them that it was probably just their imaginations and not to worry. Well, a little later, approximately an hour or so, I heard a sound on the roof. Heard the girls crying and sounding scared, so I went into their room where my friend's daughter had the bunk bed, and my oldest daughter was on the top bunk. When I entered the room, they were both crying and scared again, claiming that what they heard sounded like tiny feet walking across the roof. I noticed that their pet was acting funny, nervous as well. This friend has also shared stories with me that she and her family have been visited before, and that she feels and her family have been abducted over years. I was never sure, but was curious because I had my own experiences over the years. Holy shit, Andy Davis. Thank you so much, my friend. Holy shit. Thank you. Much love. Yeah, definitely. HARP and DARPA are definitely not new. I don't think anyone said that, though, but definitely not new. Scary. Anyway, back to this. And good to see you, Closeted Psychic. On another occasion, at another residential location, at this same friend lived at prior, we, my daughters, her kids, and her boyfriend, separate time with more witnesses, all witnessed a bluish glow coming from the woods in the front of her house. Both locations are way out in the country away from the city, and heard sounds. I remember commenting on the first incident when we were outside how I loved the sounds of owls. There sounded like 2 or 3 hooting back and forth of another. That's all I remember during that particular event. It seems that at some point I was able to convince the girls to go back to bed, and we all did. This main incident only had 3 witnesses: myself, my daughter, and my friend's daughter. So, alien walking on their roof, a little scary, little booter touching, dee, dee, dee. I do not have saber-toothed tiger stories. Susan from New Jersey, how are you? In Nexus, what's going on? Tiptoeing alien. You're absolutely right, Shari Strong. They want to touch the booter. Those aliens are always about the booter. Dude, aliens are like, but they're always touching someone's asshole. Like, what the fuck, man? Stop it. Stop it. I wonder if they smell their long finger after they're done. They're like, me, 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 me. So those of you who have been with the channel a while, wow, that was weird. That was really weird. Why did I do that? That was creepy. I was like, eh. Anyway, those of you guys who have been with the channel for a while know about my Dogman encounter and why I started the channel. But I also had a really crazy Ouija board experience at the farm, my family's farm, that's haunted. And if you've been with the channel for longer than 4 years, you've seen that video where I took my camera down there. Oh, yeah. Told the story about what happened. Damn. And, but there's a story of the Blue Man on the family's farm. And it's really weird because I think that at one point back in the 50s or 40s, some shit happened at that farm well before my, maybe even the 30s. But for some reason, in the pig pens, and we had huge boars and pretty big sows, but we had a boar that was like, I don't know, 800 pounds. It was fucking huge. But my great uncle told me and my cousin a story one night about this short, blue, demonic looking creature that he had seen down by the pig pen one night. And I guess it had chased him and his brother. They were running all the way up through a hayfield. And I guess like the night or the day after that, the day after they saw it, the cops showed up because there had been a dead body in the pig pen. And that was just weird. So then my older cousin said that he had seen this Blue Man one night and that had snuck around a garage. And as he was walking up the barn road to go to his house, it kind of popped in behind him. But there was a lot of weird stuff that happened. And I've always wondered if like whatever that was in the hayloft that night that tried to like get me, if that was the Blue Man. Banner 1449. Definitely believable because the guy shared some information with me on the whole thing of it. Mr. Rollins, I don't know. I don't control it, so there's no reason to have your little bitchy face on. I don't control the commercials, the ads, but there's nothing I can do about it. So I apologize, but no reason to cry about it. I'm just kidding. I love you. But YouTube is fucking hounding people for money. Like, why put an ad in a live stream? That's kind of douchey. Like, if I'm in the middle of talking and we're having fun, it fucking interrupts the whole fucking like vibe. We're vibing and YouTube needs an extra $2. Fucking assholes. Haramick! Thank you, my friend. All right. When I was a kid in high school during summertime, my younger brother and friends would go to Beaver Lake in northwest Arkansas to go swimming. We used to jump off a cliff into the water. One day I jumped, and people watching said that a giant fish-like person grabbed me from hitting my head on nearby rocks. When I was under the water, I opened my eyes and I saw a young lady with a silvery fishtail instead of legs. Two younger men with her were behaving very protective of her and kept me from getting near the woman. They also had silvery fishtails, apparently. One guy, maybe her boyfriend or whatever, that one had short black hair and a pencil-like mustache. The other one seemed to have blondish hair and raced ahead of the two. They were nice, benevolent to me. Volumes about their world were conveyed to me within months. There are different life forms on Earth that we do not know anything about, and they want to keep it that way. Under normal circumstances, those males would have killed me. So I suppose they were trying to impress the female, or one of them was courting her and the other was escorting them somewhere. Mer people are captivating, very attractive, but also kill humans. I don't know why, but these ones actually saved my life before swimming off into the darkness. I believe 100% in the aquatic mer people. And I think they are. I think they are very malevolent creatures. I don't think normally they are nice. My own opinion, because of the multiple experiences we hear, they seem to be just very devious. And, and maybe it's because of all of their, fishing, trapping that we've done and they've gotten caught and how fishermen treat them. I don't know. But I definitely think they are something otherworldly. Maybe they came through a portal. I think octopi and cuttlefish and squid are aliens. I really think they are alien and not of this planet. So mer people may be something like them. Gringo, thank you so much, my brother. You guys are great. Thank you for blessing me. What does my shirt say? It says, I am not gay, but $20 is $20. No, I don't mind. I don't mind octopi. I really think they are amazing. I'm afraid of them. I'm deathly afraid of them. Like the Humboldt squid. Anything that's like 6 feet tall that can suck me under the water and pull me to my death absolutely is terrifying. But they're so intelligent. Like, they've got to be, if they could communicate, if they could talk, we would think they were just as smart as us, I bet you. And humanity is dumb. We are dumb creatures. Just because we can talk, we think we're smart. But octopi are definitely smarter than us. Stacey Lockett, how are you? I apologize for not saying hi first. Oh, you just popped in. Okay, cool. All right. Storm Zombie, how are you? Yeah, I don't that's why I don't like the ocean. I love the ocean. I love the ocean. I like kayaking. I'll kayak in the ocean. That's where I learned how to kayak in the ocean. But swimming, I don't like. I like swimming in pools. I don't like swimming in open water where water monsters could be. Like, I don't care. Like rivers, fucking swamps. I won't swim in fucking anything that's open water because there are fucking monsters in there. Yeah, they do talk with color change. You're right, Steph. Absolutely right. And it is neat. And I think that one, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, the picture that everyone was so fascinated with, or video, I think it was a cuttlefish that it really looked like an alien because it had changed its shape. Like it had its funnel head, and then all of a sudden it turned disc-like and then lit up and like did these strobes. Very interesting. If you guys look that up, it's freaking awesome. Zilla, if God wanted us to swim, we'd have the Wahila. Possible Dogman, possible. I did some videos, Nicholas Carroll, on the Wahila, in the Headless Valley. I think that it's quite possibly the dire wolf. I don't think Dogman because the native tribes in that area, they don't have a Dogman like kind of figure in their lore. They do have the Wahila, which reminds me of a dire wolf. It actually looks more like a thylacine if you really think about what a Wahila looks like. So maybe it's related to the thylacine somehow. Maybe it's a cold climated thylacine. Who knows? M. Kirby, have a good night. What sea mammals are hairy? Aren't crabs hairy, but they're not mammals? I think whales have hair. Dolphins have hair. I think they have hair, like I don't know. Let's find out. Let's ask Google. What sea mammals are hairy? Jeff's giant balls. No, I'm just kidding. Sea otters. Sea otters. Baleen whale, humpback whale, Amazon river dolphins, and orcas all have ball hair. Sovereign cosmic wildman. That would only explain the reason why I do believe they can swim, because I had a girl that had an experience on Shelter Island in New York City, and it's technically saltwater. So yeah, I believe you too. And in the archipelago of Washington, I believe I had a couple of encounters also, like that area. You don't swim. No, I swim. I don't swim in dirty water that doesn't have chlorine in it because there's monsters in there. Thank you, Five Rings. Thank you. And we won tonight, baby. We won tonight. Yeah, orcas are attacking boats because they're pissed off. They're like really mad, you know? They're like, fuck that. You're hitting us with your boats. We're just going to smash the shit out of you. Thank you, Stacy Lockett. Thank you. I hope we make it to the series this year, Five Rings. I don't know if we're not doing as good as last year, though. We're doing well, but not as good as last year. Rockin' Steady can choke on a big fat. Savannah. Yes, I have in New Smyrna, Florida. But I was scared. I was scared the whole time. I was also like in my 20s. Hardith, bonjour. That comment you see, really. MJ, thank you. In all due respect. Yeah, absolutely. Windsurfing would be fun. 59th, how are you, my friend? You're late, but you're here. So I'm glad you are here with us. If you kill a walrus, you might want to make a cane out of that giant walrus penis because they are huge. Because I saw it on House. I don't know where my brain comes up with this dumb shit. I'm dumb. I am dumb. I love you too, Rockin' Steady, and you know I do. Roxanne, thank you for joining us. Glad to see you. Latin Lobo Familia, how are you? I was going to say hi to you earlier, but I'm. All right. I guess. It's been a while. Guys, how long has it been since I told my encounter? Has it been long enough to where I can share it one more time? If I get 2 yeses, then I'll share it. Ugh. All right. It wasn't last week, Truth Quest. Fucking dank. So, because someone asked for it, so I'll just share it. It was 2 weeks ago. Year was 1994. I live in Glens Falls, New York, which is the foothills of the Adirondacks. And at the time, I was 17 years old. I was with my best friend, Martin, our friend Gabe, who was driving a car. We couldn't drive. We were 17. And in New York, you can't drive after 9. My girlfriend and my friend Martin's girlfriend. We were in this cul-de-sac area. They were building houses. We had like a housing boom in the mid 90s. So we're just hanging out. We weren't drinking. We weren't smoking weed. We were smoking ciggies. Listening to the greatest New York State hardcore band ever, freaking Biohazard. Just hanging out, being kids. And so the houses in this cul-de-sac were all at different stages of being built. So like at the beginning of the cul-de-sac, the house was almost done. And as you went into the cul-de-sac more, it would just like gradually get less done. So where we were, Gabe had his car parked kind of like, so the cul-de-sac went like this. There's woods behind us and a road. Now the woods in front of us go on for ever. You get the Hudson River. It's woods, a mountain, the Hudson River, and more mountains. And so those woods, though, were where when they built these houses and they were building and clearing out the land, they pushed a lot of debris back in there. Melissa Hernandez, thank you. And Thank you for the love, Melissa Hernandez. And so it's very hard to maneuver through there. That's key. Um, so we're hanging out, and all of a sudden there's this like shriek, like weird. It didn't sound like a woman. It didn't sound like a bobcat noise or like that fox noise. It was a shriek, but it had bass to it. And the girls screams out, they both screamed out vampire. I have no idea why. I really don't. I thought for the longest time because we had seen The Lost Boys, but that night before coming out here, we watched Dazed and Confused. And because I've like literally sat and tried to like pinpoint every part of this experience. So they get in the car, they're in the back seat. Gabe is in the front seat and had been sitting in the front seat for almost a half an hour. I'm standing in the passenger side in front of the headlight, staring into the woods, and I can see eye shine. I see this whitish yellow, more white than yellow, but eye shine at different heights. 3, 4 foot to 6, 7 foot. I don't know. Fucking running through the woods. And I'm like, what is this? You know, like my brain's not, I'm just trying to figure out how they're running through the woods so fast, what it is, and this and that. My friend Martin is from Czechoslovakia. So like, we always used to pick on him because he sounded like Arnold. And he grabs my arm and he goes, Jeff, get in the car, bitch. And grabs me and puts me in the car. So he gets in the middle. I'm riding passenger shotgun. And I'm like, what the fuck? Staring out the window. Gabe starts the car and we take off. And we get to, so where we were parked, cul-de-sac goes this way. We're here. We get to that stop sign there and we're turning north to go home. We were in the middle between, we were almost to Saratoga Springs. So we were in Wilton, New York, it's called. And we drive out of there like a bat out of hell. As we are stopped at this stop sign heading north, we all look and there's this really athletically strong looking creature, not muscle bound, not like it, worked out at a gym, but you could tell that it was very strong. And it looked like it didn't belong on this planet. It looked like it shouldn't belong here. Its legs were odd shaped. Its head was almost like Anubis. Its snout was not as long as like a wolf's. Its ears were very long. I don't recall a tail. And it was super tall. It was taller than the sign that it was standing by. And we left. I ended up dropping the girls off. Gabe dropped me and Martin off. And the next day we went back and we're looking for tracks. We wanted to see what the hell this thing was. And there had been, during this housing boom, people were stealing wood from all of these housing projects. I don't know why, but people were fucking stealing wood, being scumbags. And the guy who was the supervisor of the project like starts screaming at us, like, get the fuck out of here. What the fuck? We're two kids. And we're just like, we're looking for our dog. Our dog ran away. We're looking for our dog. We're sorry, And he realized like, oh, they're not stealing anything. They're in a piece of shit S10 pickup truck. And they're like dumb kids. So he goes, all right, I'm sorry. Last night we heard what sounded like, because they were packing up the night before, they said they had heard what sounded like a bunch of dogs in the woods that were fighting. And Martin and I looked at each other like, holy shit. So years go by, I become obsessed and buy every paranormal cryptid book I can find since 1994 and just die hard. years go by, and the thing of everything is I completely forgot that I hadn't seen Gabe in 20 something years. I end up running into him one night, and I'm like, dude, how are you? Holy shit. And he's like, I'm good. And I'm like, do you remember that night? And he's like, yeah, I do. And I'm like, what happened to you? Why did you like not talk to me and Martin or anyone after that? And he's like, I blamed you and Martin. He goes, because you guys we listened to like death metal. We were those kids that, we didn't wear all black. We weren't goth, but we listened to death metal and wore leather jackets and tight Levi's. And we thought we were tough. We were fucking idiots. But he's like, because you guys listen to that music, like Deicide and stuff, I thought it was because of you guys that the demons came out. And I'm like, what do you mean? And he's like, dude, I saw more than you guys saw. And I'm like, you saw more than what I saw? And he's like, yeah, when I was in the car, when those things were running through the woods before they even howled or made that noise, he goes, there were two of them that crossed the road. And I caught it out of my peripheral when I was playing with the radio. And they were going into the woods behind us. And then, like seconds after those things went into the woods behind us, is when that noise erupted. And honestly, I think if they hadn't howled, we would be dead. I think the ones in front of us and the ones behind us would have killed all five of us without an issue. And that's my experience. Life and Times, how are you? Did I miss anybody? I think new people came in. My initial thoughts, Hardith, I don't know. I monster. That's it. Brett of Andy, how are you? DC, how are you? I didn't mean to miss you. I'm sorry. Jeb Smith, how are you? I guess I don't know. I honestly, and then when I got my cryptid book, it's downstairs now. I still have the same book I bought in '94. I still have it. There was a page of werewolves, and that's the only thing that I could compare it to, that and Bigfoot. So, I mean, back in '94, there weren't any books. There was nothing, just fucking weird. But yeah, so that's my encounter. Are you saying the two saved you from the other three? No, the yell, the scream saved us, because if we hadn't heard it, if they hadn't screamed, that the ones that were in the woods in front of us as they were coming towards us or howled or whatever, those two behind us, we wouldn't have gotten in the car and left if they didn't make any noise, because we were unaware of them. Gabe quickly saw them, but he didn't say anything. He didn't say a word to us. So I've never had Roy Rogers sandwiches. Never had no Roy Rogers sandwiches. I've had White Castle. I like White Castle. And yes, me and Martin were your atypical metalhead. Like, we loved Brujeria. Oh, Brujeria was awesome. Greatest fucking band ever. Brujeria. Pito Wilson. What if he was the vampire? I doubt he was a vampire. His dad was a preacher. And I could see him in the daytime. So, any cryptids before your experience? Yeah, I did. I believed in Bigfoot and stuff. I grew up, I had those books. Like, remember the Time Life Read the Book commercial? My mom bought those for me. So it was like, I was, why is your friend say anything? Because he didn't have time. By the time when he saw them cross is when they started to come up to us and make that noise. What's up, Tracy? How are you? And we don't have In-N-Out in New York. I wish we had In-N-Out in New York. We got no In-N-Out in New York. We got White Castle, but White Castle is like not as good. The police car is out there tonight. He's always there. He's right. You can't see him tonight. He's just past the house. I can just barely see the white. Shackleneck saw him last week when he was here. Gringo, thank you, my friend. I come from a family of abductees. During my life, I have had several experiences, starting with seeing a large hexagonal UFO, the kind that blends into the night sky and that you can only make out the outline as it cloaks itself. Later, I experienced shining lights coming through my ceiling, and eventually I began experiencing vivid memories of piloting a ship and being on an alien race, traveling to unique worlds, some in which I called home. Over the years, I have had many experiences of being educated aboard a ship in human form. And I was always very active, questioning, disruptive participant. I am always trying to get people on ships to open their minds up to new ideas, think differently, and also my most recent experience on a ship. I was led through a corridor by a hybrid scientist. He was mostly human in appearance, but with wrinkled, thick gray skin and wearing a lab coat. We passed beside a small group of dark-skinned humanoid dog-like people. I feel bad calling them that. They have a name, I just can't remember. There were about 12 or so of them. They were good-looking, not quite human, but were familiar, like very close relative of human beings with something different about them that was jarring. They reminded me of an Australian Aboriginal people in complexion, features such as eyebrows, eye shape, smile, lips, hair color, and texture. But they had sharp canine teeth, dark dog-like noses, and the men had a lot of facial hair. The men and women wore animal skin clothing. The women were mostly of older age, wore long cloaks, and were hunched over and huddled together, and they seemed to be feeling cold. The men wore less, more like a loincloth, and were of varying age. The scientist was very nervous in proximity to these people and tried to hurry me past them. He felt they were wild animals. In a telepathic environment, you just know how others feel. They don't have to say it or explain their feelings. They just are. I was approached by one of these men very insistently. He came very close into my physical space, and he flashed his eyes at me urgently. They glowed bright green like a cat's eyes do. He was very passionate, animated, and intense, and I was attracted to him. He smelled nice. He told me telepathically that he was lonely, that his people wanted to get off the ship, that genetically they were dying and had a very small gene pool, and that they needed to start meeting people. It wasn't just to reproduce, of course. They were social beings. He had a lot to say and felt that I could explain it to the scientist because he was not listening. The scientist had to punish the man for being disobedient, and I was appalled. I had a very good feeling about them culturally as a group and felt that they would fit in very well on Earth. Both Dogman and scientist received my feelings of the matter in telepathic environment. It's all pretty obvious when someone hears you. The scientist was surprised at my reaction. This was another experience of dealing with gray hybrid humans and sort of shaking my head in oblivious ways. Obvious ways, excuse me. No, oblivious ways. They know so much, but they are a lot they don't understand. I was definitely more interested in the people in the corridor than whatever the hybrid scientists was taking me to do. I don't remember anything after that point. Later, I was unnerved by my attraction to a non-human, but I guess it was close enough. I don't know how I feel about that encounter. I really don't. I have a little bit of it's a little weird. Like they either need medicine because I'm having a hard time, like medicine, or you're attracted to a dog-like alien. Like, listen to this one line. I wanted to say this out loud too. I was approached by one of the men very insistently. He came very close to my physical space. His eyes flashed. I was attracted to him. He smelled nice. He told me telepathically that he was lonely, that his people wanted to get off the ship, that genetically they were dying and had a small gene pool. Doesn't every lonely guy at a bar say that? I'm thinking that this lady was at a bar and really shit-faced. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. It was a little fucking weird, though. A little fucking weird. I read your encounter the other day, Chris. Yesterday. 2 days ago, Chris Hickey. I did read your black-eyed kids encounter on... hang on one second. I'll tell you exactly what day. Good night, Pops. Hang on, Chris. Content. Yeah. One day. Encounter. I read it 2 days ago. Dogman, South American Special Forces, terrifying encounter with black-eyed kids. 2 days ago. Yes, you did miss it, Chris. You goddamn mother. I'm just kidding. Just kidding. The flesh is deprived. Oh my God. Dude, but it sounded like the weakest, like, lonely man bar. Like, come on. My gene pool is so low. I am lonely. Come home with me, please. As he's rubbing his nipples with the one hair hanging out. I used worse hookup lines. Andy Davis, you know it. Yeah, a little bit, Lindman. A little bit. He smelled nice. It's because he sprayed on you. He's like, he gave her the old piss right in the eye. Oh. It smelled like the Polo Grounds, maybe. I will get Tiggs. I was waiting for someone to ask. Oi! He'll come. Come on, bud. Come on, buddy. He'll come in a minute. He's got to wake up probably. He's probably laying on the couch, smelling himself going, I smell nice. My gene pool is small. Come join me. Whoa, I froze. Did you guys see my screen freeze? I froze. All right, this is a creepy Dogman encounter. Let me see where he is. Hang on. Buddy. Come on, buddy. I don't know where he is. Come here, bud. Why does my fucking screen keep freezing? That's weird. Thanks, Hilda. I don't know why my screen keeps freezing up. All right. Dogman encounter. Buddy, here he is. Come here. Come on. Here he comes. Here, buddy. Fine. Hi, buddy. Aw. Hi. Come here. Hi. Hi. There he is. Hey, buddy. Good boy. Oh, good boy. Huh? What? What? Huh? Wanna get down? Oh, good boy. Say hi to everybody. Say hi, everybody. The Northern Lights. Did my screen freeze up on anybody? Here. There you go. No, yes. It was weird. Oh, hey. I just gave you some. They're right there. Look. Right here. Look. Right here. Here. There you go. Eat those. Dude, he didn't see where I put him. He's like... So far, so good. All right. It was weird because it froze up. Has a couple of times. Thank you, Tracy. I don't know why. It just did. Maybe it's the Northern Lights. All right. Here's a really awesome Dogman encounter. Probably the feds. My kids are actually petrified. Speaking of which, my daughters, both of them, are like petrified that one day they're gonna like wake up and I'm not gonna be here and they're not gonna know where I am. My little brother and I walked around Washington one summer night last year, 2003. Washington is a little town in Pennsylvania. There isn't really much to do out here. He would be going to college next year, so I figured I'd do something nice and hang out with him before then. I'm self-employed, so I didn't really have to worry about putting in for vacation time or anything. We spent nearly all of the winter playing on my old Xbox 360, like Halo, until wee hours. Now, I've been a fan of podcasts and YouTube videos. We were talking about paranormal encounters forever, but I never imagined I'd have one myself. It was the night before Christmas. It was a picture-perfect Christmas as well. Fresh snow on the ground. All the houses were decorated for Christmas, flickering lights on every roof and inflatables in every yard. Everyone had the Christmas spirit. I don't think there was one house undecorated. My little brother wanted to drive around and look at the houses, so I agreed to drive with him and look at the houses if that's what he wanted to do. So we get all bundled up in our winter clothes and pile in my truck. Me in my big puffer jacket, toboggan, scarf, and sweatpants. and him in his full set of under cold gear. I swear the little guys live at the gym and love wearing anything that shows off his gains. I even turned on the radio for some Christmas music for the extra Christmas spirit. We were just passing the nursing home in town called Grove at Washington, and I got this eerie feeling creeping up my spine for some reason as we passed. I heard stories from patients who stayed there, and even from the workers who worked there, just a bad nursing home in a toxic workplace. They can't keep anybody because they keep running people off, have inattentive staff, and etc. Back in 2020, they had part of the roof fall and trap 4 residents that had to be rescued. Well, we get down to the bottom of the hill, and the next thing I know is a 9-foot dark brown haired color creature that looked like a big super buff dog man looking thing on steroids. It bolts out of the woods in the middle of the road in front of us. Its spur was all matted with snow and mud and sticks and leaves. It's got this really nasty looking scar or something across its face and smaller, gnarly looking gashes on its chest. Its eyes seemed to be bloodshot and red. It was baring its teeth and growling loud. We could hear it over the radio. This thing looks like it was not having a good day. I had to slam on the brakes to avoid hitting it. I tell you what, I felt like all of the color in my body drained and that my eyes were bulging out of my skull like Looney Tunes. My heart was ready to bust out of my chest. I couldn't do anything but grip the steering wheel tightly. My brother, in the passenger seat, losing his mind in absolute hysterics. He was in such hysterics, he was trying to hop in the seat to hug me as close as he could. This thing, the whole time is just in the middle of the road looking at us. Eventually, it just got bored or whatever. It let out this horrendous howl that just chilled me to my soul, ran off into the nearby woods. It easily cleared a fence, and then we couldn't see it anymore. We both eventually calmed down enough, somewhat, to where we could continue the evening. But the whole time, we were afraid of bumping into this thing again. Thank you, Latin Lobo. Yeah, dude, seeing a Dogman in the snow? Like, oh, I forgot. I wanted to say this. So, this winter, I just bought a set of snowshoes, and I purposely bought these snowshoes because I'm going to be able to go up to where Tom Mezek disappeared in the snow. And if there is any tracks up in those woods where no one goes in the snow, I'll be able to tell and find out. And I'm going to keep my camera, my trail cam, up there longer than I did last year. So I'm going to put it up. I wanted to get up there before now, but I'll probably go up sometime next week and put my trail cam up, or I might put 2 up because I have 2, but I got snowshoes so I can, because no one goes out there in the winter. No one goes out there in the summer. But this way I can honestly see if there's tracks, and I'm fucking excited about it. Gringo, thank you. Wait, Justin Russell, where did you hear this from? Mike Gregg, how are you? West Virginia? Justin Russell, if you see them in West Virginia, you email me and I will pay double for a pack, and I will send you pictures of my feet. That's a good deal. That's a very good deal. Yes, I will be careful, Walter. I promise. Deal. Ha ha. Sweet. Little bit of foot fetish and extra money. I'll even wash them for you. Gringo, thank you very much. Everybody who has helped contribute to the channel tonight, thank you. Thank you. I really like it's amazing. Thank you so much. You guys are awesome. I probably don't deserve it, so but thank you. Between each toe is $20. Yes, sir. Wait, who is fighting in the UFC tonight? Who fought good? Anyone fight? Let me see. UFC tonight results. Pereira won. Are you fucking kidding me? Oh, I hate him. God dang it. I hate Pereira because he beat Izzy. Kamala Paris, yes. The police is always there every Saturday night. Yep. Yes, Girth. UFC does need a big Sasquatch. We need who could we get back? The guy that beat Brock Lesnar, I forget his name. Kane. Get Kane back and have him take many steroids so he grows hair all over. Don't shave him and throw him in the ring and call him Bigfoot. Kamala, I don't know. Honestly, I don't know why they're. Ever since I started the live stream, there's been a police officer across the street from my house every Saturday night. And my daughter can attest to that. It's crazy. Bigfoot versus The Rock. Ooh, and the Bigfoot could do the wild man elbow. Black-eyed kid story? Sure. I just need to tell somebody about this. Back in September of 2016, my girlfriend and I were staying at a hotel in Atlantic City. It wasn't a large hotel/casino. It was a nice place regardless. It was early Saturday morning. We were awake and hosting another couple from Philly, sharing stories and enjoying each other's company. They were swingers. Well, at about 2 a.m., we realized that we were out of beer, and we really didn't feel like calling it a night. My girlfriend told me that there were a couple of bottles of sparkling wine in the trunk. So she tossed me the keys, and I made my way out to the car. The parking lot was not very convenient at this hotel, so we ended up parking in a spot off the side of the street about a block away. I could hear the noises coming from the club down the street, but as I walked to the car, I found myself feeling unusually alone. I turned down the street to where the car was parked. The air was very heavy, misty with a drizzling rain, and the street lamps reflected the wet sidewalk. As I reached the car and unlocked the trunk, I heard this voice call out, "Sir!" I was very startled and quickly turned around to a teen boy who was gazing at me from a few feet away. I was very unnerved and I jumped back and said something like, "Man, you scared the shit out of me." This boy just kept looking at me unfazed. He appeared to be 16 or so, wearing an old faded jean and dark hoodie. Then I noticed his eyes reflected the light from the street lamp and were completely black. I thought that he may have been on drugs, causing his eyes to dilate, but he didn't seem to be high and appeared to be calm and sober. Regardless, I was totally alarmed by this encounter. He then said, "I'm lost and tired. Could you give me a ride to my mom's house?" But this kid didn't have a tired look or worried look at all. It was almost like a predator leering at prey, and I was beginning to feel fear. He started to move closer toward me. I immediately broke eye contact with this kid. It was not easy to do. His eyes were compelling as the deep, cold blackness sought my attention. I sensed a vulnerable energy trying to control me. I backed off and stepped up onto the curb. I uttered, "No, I can't. I got friends waiting." I kept looking down. I didn't want to look back into his black eyes, feeling like an insect caught in a spider web. After a few seconds, he responded, "Okay, never mind. Here comes my friends." I look up and past him, and there were two young kids about a block away walking in our direction. Then I noticed that they weren't walking, that their legs weren't moving. They were hovering a few inches above the sidewalk, floating towards us. I freaked out, quickly turned around and ran, and as I did so, I heard a horrifying groan behind me. I ran faster than I ever thought possible, directly toward the hotel. I felt like they were right behind me. I had the painful sensation of being clawed at the back, a feeling I will never forget. It was pure terror. When I reached the entrance to the hotel, I looked back and found myself alone. I continued moving quickly, not stopping until I was back in my room. My girlfriend and the couple were startled to see me panting and bending over in pain. They asked what happened. "Where's the wine?" I collapsed onto the couch and didn't speak until I caught my breath. I never told them what occurred, only that some thugs tried to attack me. I no longer felt like playing host, and I told my guests that I wanted to call it a night. I didn't sleep a wink that night, fearing that these black-eyed kids would find us. That's fucking creepy. Zombieland, baby. Double tap. What's up, Stacey Brooks? How are you? Yeah, Girth, a little too soon. But TMZ had a really good Diddy show on the other day. Dogman should eat all black-eyed kids. I don't think that's acceptable, politically acceptable. I'm doing well. I am doing well. Wait, when did Bill Murray die? Bill Murray died? When did I miss this? Really? I know he died in Zombieland, but did he die in real life? Did he really? Am I fucking lost? He's not dead. Did he really die? Did Bill Murray die? Yeah, in Zombieland he died. I was scared. I was like, wait, where the fuck was I? I'm like, dude, you really need to get out of your fucking studio a little bit. Like, you're turning pasty white. You don't do anything except record shit. No, we were talking about Zombieland, and he did die in Zombieland. I was like, Sully, what's up, buddy? It's time for a song. It's time for a song. Good night, Camilla. Num 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 num. Cause $20 is $20. I am fucking the Kenny G of cryptozoology, baby. Next on Casey Kasem, you can see him on YouTube, but now we have him all to ourselves. It is Jeff Dogman Nadalny, top 10 at 10. Charlie Knight, one day there'll be a knock at my door with a fucking tape recorder and a cop playing the song back to me. What the fuck are you doing? Actually, Paul, it's not the same way you would play a saxophone. I know how to play a saxophone, but a shofar is completely different. What's up, Jersey Nightcat? How are you? All right. I think I have a lot lizard story. Brand new here. What's your vibe and what do you do? I don't understand the question. All right. Lot lizard story. This is off the top of my head, kids. This is fictional. This is not real. If it was real, I would suggest running away. East of Georgia, just north of Florida, Georgia line, there's a truck stop. And it's famous, world famous, for its hamburgers and chicory. And if you go there on a certain evening, you may run into Wendy, the lot lizard. She is unlike any other lot lizard you have ever seen. Yes, she'll wear that sequenced tank top and that real short mini skirt with those F-me pumps all the way to her butt cheek, but she's a venomous reptilian demon. One day, Joel, the trucker, comes rolling in, stops, gets out of his truck, kind of shakes the road off. He's thinking about the diner food. All Joel wants is French fries and gravy and a nice warm cup of chicory. Joel walks into the diner, sits down, and notices that there are not a lot of people here. There's a shitload of trucks outside, but not a lot of truckers inside. He's like, maybe the truckers are sleeping. All right. Joel orders his fries and chicory, gets up, goes to the bathroom, washes his hands, gets the dust off of him. As he's walking out of the bathroom, he smells this essence, this venomous essence. And he catches out of the corner of his eyes, it's really pretty, but something's wrong, woman. And as he's looking, he sees her skin kind of shimmer with scales, but not. But he thinks scales, but he looks again, and it's just skin. And he's like, okay, I'm good. Maybe it's just a day drive. I've been driving for 12 hours, yada, yada. He eats his fries with gravy and chicory, pays the hostess, and heads out to his truck to get a little bit of sleep. As he's walking to his truck, he hears this hiss. This hiss-ster, mister, let me in your truck and we'll have a good time. He turns around, and there's this beautiful lot lizard, Wendy. He says, all right, how much for the night? She says, $20 is $20. So he pulls out a crisp 20, hands it to her. She gets in the truck and they jump in. he rolls up a joint, smokes the joint. They're laying in the bed, hanging out, talking. As he's trying to take his boots off, she kind of rolls on top of him. But he notices something different. Something smells different. She doesn't smell like that smell before. She smells different. She smells like his son's snake tank. Kind of reptilish, kind of stinky, little bit of moisture. Something's wrong. And all of a sudden, she licks his neck, but it feels like two things touching him. He startles, and he looks back, and he sees Wendy's face has now changed. It now looks kind of like a monitor, but not really. She still has hair, but her eyes are now snake-like, with like this muzzled lizard reptilian face, with a long tongue and sharp, jagged teeth. And he tries to push her off. Get off of me. Get off of me. Can't get off of her. She's too strong. He feels something going up his pant leg. He's like, what the fuck is going up my pant leg? And he feels scales and points and jagged little rips and stuff. And he realizes that it's her tail going up his pant leg. And he's a little nervous because it's sharp. All of a sudden, it touches his taint. And he gets real scared there. Now, at this point, he's still in his jeans. His boots are off, and he's got his t-shirt on, his belt. But in a matter of seconds like that, like time just flew by, he is stark naked. Like a magical fucking power just happened. And he's nude. And he's like scared because he doesn't know how he got naked. But he's still got this lot lizard on top of him, who is fully clothed, by the way, still. And he's feeling this touching all over, right? And then he realizes that there's more things that feel like a tail touching him on his other side and all around him. And he kind of looks down and he sees all of these little kind of lot lizard baby things running around the bed of his fucking truck. And he's like, oh my God, what the fuck is this? And they're little baby lot lizards running around his bed of his truck. They're biting him. They're fucking clawing him. And he's scared. And he doesn't know what's going on. And he gets bit in the throat. But he's not bleeding. But he can't breathe. And he chokes out. And he wakes up the next morning, dressed, completely dressed, gets in his front seat, looks in his mirror, looks at his throat, and there appears to be like this mark on his throat with little indentations of teeth. And he gets out of his truck and he's like, what the hell? And he feels like all these little bites all over his body and they're burning. So he goes into the truck stop and he gets a nice cup of chicory. And then he goes into the shower room at this truck stop. And he strips off naked and he gets in the shower and he starts to look at his body. And there's all these little reptilian bite marks all over his body. And he's like, what in the hell? Was it a dream? I don't remember anything but it didn't seem real. I was clothed, then I was naked, but nothing happened. I didn't take my clothes off. She didn't take my clothes off. And he starts washing, and he gets this really burning sensation. And he looks down. And he's now missing his manlyhood. It's gone. Wendy, the lot lizard, chewed off his manlyhood. Gone. Joel is now Jolene. Jolene, the truck driver. And it was all because of Wendy in a hot cup of chicory that she laced. And now he's fucked. So don't be a truck driver. Don't go to a lot lizard truck stop. And don't drink no chicory. Ooh, a silkwood shower would be great. He's no longer Joel, he's Jolene. I did not have time to come up with a lot lizard story today. I apologize. That was off the top of my head. And I was going to actually talk about the tail kind of penetrating his booter, but that was from a long time ago, and I didn't want to do that again. So I figured Jolene kind of dropped a bunch of lot lizard babies all over him, and they all started biting him. So I guess that sounds pretty good. Well, Stacey, I think why he didn't notice was because the venomous bite. You know how some like with like tick bites, they inject that kind of like that poison so you don't feel it. That's what I think happened. I think I don't know. I don't know. I'm not a writer. Play one on TV. Last encounter of the night, kids. And this one goes out to Aramic and Gringo. It was the summer of 2000 in Knox County, Missouri, near a small village called Colony. Just north of there, the North Fabius River, where there's a concrete bridge. I would fish off of this small river, a lot of times underneath the bridge, where there was usually a pretty good deep hole to fish. One night I was fishing just on the east side of the bridge on the south bank, and as I was watching my poles, I heard a loud crashing sound straight across the river from me. Something was crashing through the trees. I looked directly in that direction and see this large object flying through the air and down toward the river. Mostly what I'm observing when I first catch sight of this thing are enormous wings. And this thing lands right in the middle of the river where there is a sandbar that divides basically two small canals in the river. It lands just to the left of where my line is cast out, maybe 20 feet or so. It is most definitely dark, but there is enough light from the burning citronella candle bucket I had brought to see an outline of whatever this thing is. I will never forget the size of the wings and how it landed, just like a bird. The wings were most likely white, or at least light enough that I could make them out pretty easily, but it stood just like a man, and it did have a body of a man. The wings were enormous and were possibly as tall, if not taller, than the body by a foot or two. It looked mostly naked from what I could tell, but I saw some kind of chest straps that went across its chest. I could not see its face, but it looked like it was wearing some kind of helmet. I say this because it looked exactly like a face shield from Hawkman. It had a pointed face shield that looked like a bird's face, like the Hawkman character. After it landed, it stood straight up and had its wings tucked in, and it did not move for a very long time, but I could see water stirring up. I just kept staring at it, too afraid to move. I can't say how much time had passed, but it seemed like long enough. All of a sudden, I saw it moving even more, and it looked like it had a large vase or something in its hand as it dipped it into the water and started pouring the water on itself and its right wing. To me, it seemed like it must have been injured because of the way that it was crashing through the trees. That's what it appeared like anyway. After it did that, it stood straight and did not move at all. It stood there for the longest time and looked more like a post because it was so still. I watched it for another 20 to 30 minutes as it didn't move. I was scared, and I just kept thinking in my mind that it had to be able to see me, or at least see the citronella candle bucket burning. I started telling myself that what I was seeing was not real. I had two poles with me at the time, but only one was cast out. And the one that was cast out, I just started reeling in, nice and slow, keeping my eye on this thing. At this time, the wind is blowing the candle directly into my face, and all I can breathe is that citronella smell. I grab the candle bucket and move it to the right. All of a sudden, I see this thing leap and jump into the water like a dive. Water splashes up, and there is a wake hitting the bank. I immediately grab my poles and take off running up the bank. I kept falling down, scared out of my mind in a total panic, thinking this thing was behind me. I finally got past the rock outcropping and up above the bank and onto the road and went straight for my truck. I got out of there still thinking this thing is following me. I was scared. I was actually scared for quite a long time. Looking back now, maybe this creature was just as scared as I was of it. Oh. All right. Claire Harris, thank you. All right, guys, I want to thank you all for spending another Saturday with me. Thank you, Gringo. I appreciate you. Did you catch your show? Did you like it? Did you like the night that I did your upload, your experience? I thought it was good. That was a great experience. Gringo, me and you got to get together and do an interview. Guys, I want to thank you for all of your support. Like I cannot thank you enough. This channel would be nothing without you guys. Like I would randomly still be reading experiences to open air, but you guys are what makes this channel special. So thank you. I just want you guys to know that I recognize you guys as much as you recognize me, and I respect all of you and appreciate all of the love and respect you give back to me. Once again, Halloween 9 to 11 live stream. Every Saturday night, there's a live stream at midnight Eastern Standard Time. So Halloween, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I think I'm going kayaking tomorrow. I don't know. But I want to thank you guys for everything once again. And I love you all. And you guys make this channel what it is. And it is special because you guys make it that way. So no cap. How are you, buddy? Thank you for joining us. But thank you very much for everything you do. And I will see you guys next week. Good night.